Hello everybody, Anna Charanova here with Robin Moser and Associates, and you can see Robin again is not here, but I got some guests for today, my girlfriend Gwen and Shelly. So there will be, it's like the view today. We're going to be talking about to list or not to list by owner, and they're going to both share their experiences for one side or another. But first, we are making a drink, so we're doing the Hamlet. Yeah, so kind of we're going Shakespearean today a little bit.
Okay.
So,
Yes.
and I'm so glad because for the last two shows and two more shows, like Robin is not going to be here, and I don't want to go to that experience. You see, like I was drinking with my poster last time. Yeah, so.
Drinking alone.
That's right. So well, that's why the poster was there, because I could share with myself, right? So I'm gonna put my recipe on the screen. It looks super easy. So I have a rock glass with ice ready to go, and then we just combine all the ingredients into a shaker. We do an ounce of vodka and half an ounce of Campari. Oh, that's a little bit more than half an ounce, but it is what it is now. And I'll just put a little bit of extra orange juice maybe in mine.
I think this is the first time I've had a drink with Campari.
Oh, yeah.
It's not something
Such a
I
pretty
typically-
spring color.
Right.
We've been on a roll with Campari. I'm actually developing kind of a taste to it. And then all we do is put those three ingredients in. And you know the thing, you shake it until your fingers fall off. Mine fell off in 2 seconds. I mean, usually dance, because that's like my thing, yeah. So I know, won't be the first time.
And it's on the roof.
We did have a lot of accidents on the show, so. But basically, you just kind of shake it off, and you take your glass, and you pour it in. So it's like nice, kind of like peach color, sunrise, sunset, whatever you want. It's a perfect color for spring. And I'm just doing an orange rim twist into my drink. And this is kind of what it looks like. All right, so we're gonna grab, ladies, go ahead. I'll just, and grab the straw. Do the little swirl. Okay, cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
All right, let's try this.
Oh, I like that.
It tastes like summer
I
trouble.
got hair.
I like that because
Yeah.
it's not just the vodka and orange juice.
Right?
It adds that something else.
It has a kind of complexity, that bitterness that comes.
Yeah.
That's what I was just going to say. It's got that bitter kind of, but in a good way. It's not sweet at all.
Yeah, so
No, it's a nice
that's
bitter.
Campari, right? So Campari
Yeah.
that gives you that pretty orangey color and that bitter taste as well.
Yeah.
But I actually like it better than Screwdriver, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, usually like with a Screwdriver, you put lots of orange juice in this. This
Yeah.
is basically booze with a splash of orange juice.
Yeah.
So a little, but I think the intensity is there. I think it's a dangerous drink because it's very refreshing,
Yes,
right?
It's very strong. You can
Yeah,
taste
yeah.
that.
Well, and because the bitter comes through, right, and gives you that extra strength on your palate.
Yeah.
And I think it's definitely a nice patio drink.
Yes.
But I think you can, if you have too many of those, they will sneak up on you.
Yeah. I picture the Jackie O with the big glasses and the hat. And
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, the tilted hat.
Yeah.
See,
yeah.
On the.
That's why I love having a guest, because they go to the next level. They only talk like hat, and like we just like, oh, goes well with the patio. It's like, and the hat and the sunglasses.
Yeah, and the scarf.
The big oversized
Yeah.
sunglasses. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
I would say it's like a vodka version of what's that Italian drink with prosecco and Aperol.
Yeah. Spritz.
Aperol spritz. It's kind of like that, but just a little bit more concentrated.
A little
I would
less
say.
sweet.
And no fizz.
No fizz,
Yeah,
obviously.
so
It's a
very-
vodka
yeah.
version of Aperol
There we go.
spritz, yeah. So I would definitely recommend. What do you guys think? Would you recommend?
Definitely.
Yeah, I think it's a
This
good.
is going Going on my drink list. Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing. Well,
Okay.
the guests loved
Thank
it.
you.
I feel like it's a win. Yeah. Like
It's afternoon.
Yes.
Oh,
Is
well,
it? Yes,
It
it is.
is.
well, you
It's
know.
after 5 somewhere.
Exactly. Oh, we did look it up once. It's there is a little island in Atlantic Ocean close to Argentina that has 5 o'clock right now.
Perfect.
Oh,
So
okay. There
we
we
like
go.
let's look it up, and that's where it is. So yeah, it is 5 o'clock somewhere. But today we're gonna be talking about to list or not to list by owner. Obviously, it's always a heated topic, and it's everybody has what? Yeah. Well, obviously, I'm a realtor, so I have my opinions in terms of I know how much work I do on a daily basis, and again, I work with multiple clients, so it's a little bit different perspective when you just do it yourself or not do it yourself. So Shelly and her husband Chris, we go way back.
Yeah, 20 years?
At least,
Probably.
yes, at least 20 years. And you guys use me as a realtor, but you also have done home sales yourself.
Yes.
And that's why I was like, you guys would be perfect to share your experience. Why, for example, you decide to do it yourself, and would you do it now in a current environment?
Okay, well, first of all, I'll sort of address why we did it ourselves. In the moment, I believe we've sold twice. We sold a townhouse condo, and we've also sold a detached single family. Those two situations, obviously money's a driver. You want to try to get as much as you can out of your home sale. But in those moments, we weren't under any pressure. The market was relatively stable.
Okay.
There was no risk of, or we didn't believe there was a risk of
Right.
the houses or the properties we had sitting on the market for long term. We also didn't have anything that we were trying to sell to move into something that we had already agreed to.
So it sounds like you had a lot of flexibility, basically, from the
Exactly.
time-wise, the need to sell, and
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. And I think of course, the decision primarily rests on how motivated you are to sell, what the current market is like, and what your bottom line is. Everybody seems to have a bottom line when they're selling, and they I want to get at least this. I want to walk away with this much.
So how did you find, going through the experience doing it yourself, or meeting with the potential buyers, negotiating on your own behalf? How did you find that process?
Well, to be perfectly honest, I believe we were very fortunate. We ended up selling quite easily. There wasn't a lot of complications. We didn't have competing bids. We didn't have people who were requesting a lot of additional things or stuff. So
Was that pretty straightforward?
It was pretty simple. We had a fairly ironclad contract that we could use. It was probably very similar to the ones a realtor that you would use.
Right.
So it helped us a lot because we had a lot of our things protected as well, because that's important.
I imagine you had a lawyer that you consulted.
Course. Yeah, we had to have a lawyer, which is part of it, and that's fine. But we were able to show our houses. We knew we were going to be showing our homes ourselves, so we were, very mindful of the shape of the house, the condition, the cleanliness, our availability.
They are you guys a pretty organized family. So Shelly organizes the entire house. It's perfect. Yeah.
Some days.
Yeah. Well.
But yeah, so it went fairly well. We ended up getting what we wanted for both homes that we sold, and it was relatively pain-free. The challenge from selling it ourselves, the challenge becomes when we have a buyer's realtor involved in the process, and that creates other layers. So it was one of those things that we had to mitigate or deal with in the moments. So
That's right. I mean, with any transaction, doesn't matter if you're selling it by yourself or with a real estate. There's things that come up, and you just have to figure out how to deal with it, and
Absolutely.
you have to look for the answers and things like that. And so now that I know you guys been in your new home for a while, and the times have changed, would you consider doing it again? No, I'm just asking for myself.
No ulterior motive. Well, my husband and I discuss this quite a bit. We follow the realty market. We
Yes.
always look at trends and where things are
Yeah, I
going.
can always shoot for information. I know.
So if we decided tomorrow that we wanted to sell, my guess is we would probably try ourselves.
Yeah.
But if it became a situation where we were like, okay, we need to unload this property, we're done, we need to move on, and nothing's happening, then we would probably approach Anna and ask her to represent us. But if we weren't in a hurry, we could sit on it. Realistically, your homes is always going to appreciate.
Yes.
And so for us, if we had to sit on it a little bit longer,
Right.
it's just a little bit more money
Yeah.
to be in our pocket.
So it sounds like you need to be one type of seller in order to kind of feel very comfortable with being by owner.
Yeah.
Can I ask you what you guys do for marketing?
When we are selling ourselves?
Yeah.
Well, the first time we sold, there was a website. Oh gosh, I can't remember.
Is
what
it
it was
like something free comp or something?
Yeah, Comfrey.
Comfrey, yeah.
That's what it was. So we paid whatever it was. There's different levels at that time. I'm not sure if that's still
Right.
on the market, that particular
No,
product.
yeah, I
or
think
something
there is a version of it now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you
And I
can,
forgot the name
yeah,
actually.
I don't. Anyways, so you can. We would choose which level we wanted. We took pictures. We, and then we marketed it that way. We. It was so long ago. I don't even think there was like a Kijiji or anything
Right.
at that time. So, but it worked out well. We had a sign that ended up being out in front of our
Yeah.
property because we got that as part of the package,
Right.
and it just worked out really well. The second home. I think that it was a similar situation where we partnered with a company that put us on realtor.ca.
Okay, yes.
But I believe
it's called mirror posting. Yeah.
yeah. So I think it was because of that. And I mean, the people we ended up selling to did actually have a realtor, but the realtor was the father.
Okay.
And so he assisted them with the purchase, but not as a realtor, as a family member.
Yeah.
But he still had the familiarity with
That's
the
right.
process and everything
Okay.
else. And so for them, it was probably comforting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I know that there are buyers out there too who don't feel comfortable selling privately.
That's right, yeah.
So, and that's fair.
Yeah, and sometimes you don't know the logistics in terms of the contracts or understand them, right? So
Yeah.
it's kind of, well, thank you so much for sharing those
Oh, my
experiences. And I hope you guys, if you have the questions in terms of selling your property in today's market, and you can see that even in selling by owner, you have to do some sort of marketing. You have to put yourself out there to get noticed, right?
The sign
Yeah,
doesn't cut it.
exactly. Yeah. Well, and so I asked my girlfriend Gwen to come here because I know she's a self-employed, she's an entrepreneur, always been, as long as I know, she's always working, hustling. She has 4 children, a husband that travels. And I know when you guys sold, obviously the last time you sold, you used a realtor, which was a while ago, and built your dream home.
Yeah.
And I said, would you do it again? Would you do it yourself this time? Or if you don't, would you come to the show and tell us what, as who person never sold a house on their own, who's have a very busy schedule, talk about why would you use a realtor?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we've done this twice. So both times I used a realtor, and both times we were actually under new construction while we were doing it. So unlike yours, we had a time crunch, right? This had to sell so that we could move into this.
And your usually builder gives you that 30 days, sometimes 60 days, and has 90 days notice. It's all different.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I got a letter how to sell my house, right?
Come on, let's go, right? Yeah. No pressure at all. So,
especially if you have kids.
Right, yeah. As a busy mom, that's the last thing I want to do is have somebody come to the door and wander through my house as we're running out the door to Air Cadets or cheer or whatever activity that we're doing. So I'm all for hiring a professional. I don't, not my monkey, not my circus, not my area of expertise.
That's right.
So I definitely would use a realtor to navigate the market and to make sure that things sell properly. And we actually, so our last house, when we were selling our last house and we were purchasing our new one, we ended up having to sue the builders. It was it was awful. And had I not had a good team, a realtor and a good team in place when that happened, and who
you had a great lawyer as well. I remember that.
We got a great lawyer because the realtor knew what was going on. So it saved us $75,000 and actually gave us the house. I don't believe that we would be in the house that we're in had I not had the professionals in place to do it. Because I'd be lost at the best of times, let alone when it went that sideways. And I mean, we had the law on our side, obviously. We were able to be fine, but it was very stressful. And it was definitely something I wouldn't be wanting. And I mean, it was a builder, so it's not something that you would expect you would have to do.
Exactly. And sometimes you don't know what is available for you as a resources as well, right? Like, I mean, I get calls from my clients like constantly saying this has happened, and I haven't talked to them like in 2 or 3 years. And exactly. So they're like, do you know somebody? Of course I do. And if I don't, I know a whole bunch of people I can call and find out. But yes, as real estate agents, we do have an enormous network of people that we can recommend on any given basis. And referral sometimes is the best way to find a professional, because you have kind of applied trust, right? So it's always nice. How do you guys feel like you had 2 different experiences, and I'm imagining you had to negotiate both offers, come up with the terms, conditions, the price, say no, this doesn't work. Why don't you share both of your kind of experiences in this? Like, would you do it? Like, was it emotional, or was it easier, like on your part, not to do it yourself? Because, like, for example, you might felt a little bit frustrated with the experience or something. And I know, and what you guys did, like, I know you said you had pretty smooth transactions, but sometimes people like feel uncomfortable for ask for things.
So when the most recent house we sold was actually last year. We sold it privately, but again, it was very smooth because it was our tenants that purchased the home from us. But on the flip side, the tenant knows the house.
Right.
And so there's no way for you to just present, best face forward kind of idea. They know all the ins and outs, the little quirkiness of the home, the this, the that. And so we found that there was some things that this individual was asking for, which in our eyes wouldn't have been a situation that a typical buyer would have asked for. And so we found ourselves in a position where we wanted to sell to them. We liked them. They were great people.
I know we talked about that for a few months, how to get that together.
And we gave them a great deal.
See, I actually talked to them. I knew they're going to sell it like themselves, and I still advise them. See, it makes a good friend and good realtor.
So, but
and she's still coming here for drinks after all that.
Always. You have the best drinks. That's why. But what presented the problem there was the fact that we kind of had to say no.
Right.
Like, I get it.
Was it reasonable, right? Like in terms of transaction wise?
So it was 99% of the transaction, but some of the things, he kept kind of going back and saying, well, this and this and this, and we're going, well, no. Like, if you want to deal with that after you purchase the home, by all means, but we're not dealing with that right now.
See, like, I don't know how many people can actually do that. Like, sometimes, like, even though that's what I do for a living, but like sometimes if it would be my personal thing, like I would feel like I'm almost like, well, maybe not. Like, I can be very assertive on somebody's behalf, but when it comes to my personal, like sometimes I feel like if you catch me, especially on a bad day, like, your emotions, I feel can take over you, right? He's like, sign the contract. We're fine.
And that's fair, but we had some leverage because we gave them such a good price. We just kind of said, listen, like, they kept complaining about the price we were offering them. But then they actually went out and they said, we cannot buy this house for this price anywhere in the city. Anywhere in the city. And so we just kind of said, listen, we're giving you such a good deal, you deal with it.
You can't have both.
Right? Pick one. And
Right.
so they just eventually said, yeah, you know what, it's okay.
Yeah.
And they don't have to move.
Nope, they
Which is a
didn't. They
nightmare.
signed a piece of paper and then it was their house.
That's
So,
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and Gwen, like you went through negotiating your home, obviously with that realtor, and then how, like, and I'm imagining with the builder, I know you, I think, work on your own.
Yes.
And so you kind of probably had to negotiate things with the
Yes.
builder on your own. How would you compare those two experiences?
Absolutely. Definitely the realtor was way better. It's your biggest purchase,
Yeah.
right? To be emotionally attached to what I'm selling and what I'm buying would be an understatement.
Yeah.
So, yes, and like emotions get the best of you and you don't know what's right or what's wrong or what's reasonable. And
Right.
absolutely having the realtor there to tell you what was reasonable to ask for, what was okay to be asking for, and what was a reasonable. I'm an emotional person to begin with.
She's a great businesswoman.
Yes,
you know,
well, I'm a
but-
therapist,
Yeah,
right?
she's a
All I
therapist.
do is
yeah,
emotions.
Yeah, exactly. Just can't do the therapy on yourself. It's really hard.
I'm all for hiring
Yeah.
the professional, but yeah, it would have been super hard
Yeah.
to do that on my own, to be able to know where that line is of getting the best deal
Yeah.
and still being able to, right, to be able to make that sale.
Yeah.
So
As you can see, there is both ways can work. You know, you have to know what kind of person you are, if that's right, one strategy is right for you or not. You definitely can consult with Robin Moser and Associates team, myself, Robin and Michelle would love to help you out. And you know what, we help our clients, you know, if it's in your best interest. I feel like that's our job to make sure we do the best job to represent your interests as well. So our phone number on the screen, you guys can give us a call. But today is the last Wednesday of February, which means the next Wednesday we'll be giving away a gift. So how do you win the gift? Every month we give one. Can you pass that box? Yeah,
Of course.
So, alcohol infusion kit. Yes, everything you see there on this box. Yeah, it's kind of really cool. So it has all different flavors you can infuse your drinks with. It comes with a glass, metal blocks, and the
I know. Can
decanter
we win?
thing. Yeah, well, yes, you can win, absolutely. And how can you win? So every time you see a realtor, Tipsy Realtor shows and marketing, please support us by liking, loving it, tagging, sharing our show, even if it's just over a cocktail. We don't care. We just want you guys to kind of learn something about us. And I was like, we do have our Tipsy Realtor journal that is still, you can buy it on Amazon and follow us in real time and have all the cocktails and topics in there. Yeah, right? I already drank. Like, look, I already drank mine. I definitely hated mine. Yeah, it was delicious. So obviously we on Facebook Live, we on LinkedIn, we are on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. So every time you see on any platforms, doesn't matter how many times you liked and shared and tagged your friends throughout the month, your name gets entered that many times to win the drawer. And next week we're doing Bright Lights Big City, and we'll be talking about Calgary versus small towns. We're gonna compare the lifestyles, pluses and minuses, benefits to your family to live in a big city or small town. So, and thank you for watching. I would like to say thank you to my guests, Gwen and Shelly, for coming to drink with me on a Wednesday afternoon, lunchtime.
So hard.
Right? And, bringing the experience and valuable points to our discussion about to list or not to list by owner. Thanks for watching, you guys. I'll see you next Wednesday.
Bye.